Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here, and back with one of my favorite breweries and sentence, more specifically up here in New Jersey, to be Conclave Brewing. This is their Shamanic Revelation. As you can read right there, this is a IPA coming at 7% alcohol by volume. It is in Raritan Township, basically Flemington, New Jersey. And it was brewed in Cannon Conclave Brewing. I've not had this before. Love their can designs. Very, very different from what they originally had, and it's just the art design. I just dig on it so much. Today, I took my son to Touch a Truck. If you don't know what that is, basically, it's a bunch of fire engines and all that stuff in a place, and kids get to crawl all over the stuff. And there was one just north of Flemington, so I had to go down to Flemington to do a little grocery shopping. Popped in here real quick. I was really bummed because I described this 4-pack and bolted because I had my kid with me. They had one of their barrel-aged beer, Sable, an aged version of it on. I kind of wanted to try it. I could take a little sample, but I was like, I gotta get out of there. So that was a bummer. Anyway, we're gonna dive in the sucker, see what's what. Like I said, I love the art design on this can, as I do pretty much all their stuff. And it looks the part of the hazy, a bit dark. This is canned 2 weeks ago, but it's a little bit dark. I'm not saying it's oxidative dark, but it does have a little bit of darkness to it, so that could be a little bit of oxidation creeping in because their stuff is usually a bit more vibrant. Just under a pinky finger of a just south of khaki colored head, and just looks the part of a big old hazy coming in at 6%. Like I said, just comes off a little bit darker than normal. Let's get a nose. Yeah, it might be just touching a bit of that oxidation because I am getting a big fruitiness here. It's leaning, it's sweet, it's fruitiness, but there's really no citrus involved. It's very much stone fruitiness with a tropical fruit. I assume there was probably a little bit of citrus beforehand. That tends to happen with me with the beginning stages of oxidation. It tends to lean a little bit more gummy candy, kind of stone fruity as opposed to citrus, but it doesn't smell bad. There's a sweetness to it. It comes off a little bit malty. Again, that could be a little bit of a product of a little bit of oxidation. But it smells like it's going to have a nice big green component to it too. So yeah, it smells a little bit malty, a little bit oxidized, but nothing too bad. And I think it's going to come through on the taste quite nice because usually when stuff is decently oxidized, the nose is completely gone. There's still stuff there in the taste, but the nose is just knocked that out. That's not the case here, even though it smells like it might be a little bit different than maybe what they originally intended. Again, this is just me just guessing. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah, definitely suffering some oxidation issues here. It has that stone fruitiness with a little touch of that tropical fruit. Really does come undersweetened here. Again, it could be that byproduct of that oxidation going on. It is a little grainy, a little maltier than what you expect from something, especially from Conclave. The mouthfeel is still really quite nice, which is, again, one of the things that usually is the first, or one of the first things to go when there is an oxidation issue. So, not in its best form right now. You're talking about 2 weeks, right? This says canned on October 19th. Today is, what is today? The 4th of November, so 2 weeks. Could be a canning issue. Could be just the beer, maybe a couple different combinations of stuff here and there. Definitely not the best version of an IPA I've had from Conclave. Still not an overtly negative beer by any stretch of the imagination, but you could just tell there was something in this that was just had a little bit more chutzpah, a little bit more soul to it than the way it's sitting right now. But listen, this is kind of where the conversation starts to morph into what do we think about beers when they are oxidized, more specifically hazy IPAs. And it really is, I don't think it's a singular thing. I talked about this with Erudita. I've talked about it with a couple different breweries when I get these kind of oxidated cans, is that, an oxidative can should not be your end-all be-all judgment of what a brewery is all about, especially smaller breweries trying to make their hay. Conclave's been around for a few years, but not a big brewery by any stretch of the imagination. Take this as a whole in combination with all the other beers that I've had from them. I just started this video off saying pretty much one of my favorite breweries and sentence. This is not going to change my idea from that. It just goes to show you that even some of the best breweries, at least I think some of the best breweries, can still have a little bit of snafus here and there. I bought it from the brewery. 2 weeks old, so it's not like it was sitting on a shelf warm or any of that thing. Again, I got a 4-pack of it. If I will open at least one more of these before I post this video. If it is a much, much nicer beer, I will re-review it. But if it's the same, I'll just post this as a talking point and just say, let's have that conversation. I'm not going to talk about, is it one of the better IPAs, blah, 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 blah. What is your experience with oxidation, or specifically oxidation in New England style hazies? And do you find certain breweries are a bit more prone to it? You know, obviously there's going to be some of these kind of breweries that try to grow so aggressively that they have oxidation issues, production issues. I'm looking at Equilibrium. There are other breweries that do much the same. Have you had what's the word I'm looking for? Have you had a consistently bad experience with oxidation from specific breweries? Like I said, this is the first time I've really had this with Conclave. Over the several years I've been reviewing their stuff and drinking their stuff. I haven't reviewed everything I've had. And has it been a problem with you with specific breweries? And have you had this particular beer, and was it fresh when you had it, and did it have an oxidation thing? Yada, yada, yada. Let's turn the conversation to that rather than be like, oh, this beer is not good and this brewery should go. It's not what we're trying to talk about here. I am going to go immediately back to Conclave and buy more beer because I think they make great stuff. So this is more of a way to talk about things that kind of plague this style of beer. And turn it into a positive video instead of a negative. So there you go. Review in the books. If you want to talk about Conclave, more than welcome. You want to talk about your oxidation issues, consistent oxidation issues, certain breweries kind of always have that problem with. All that fun stuff. Let's talk about it down there. So there you go. I'm reviewing the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of local beer right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.